Hello everybody, and welcome back to the next video in our playthrough of Aeon Trespass Odyssey. We are on day 50. Well, technically I'm on day 53 right now. I just spent about an hour what I thought was recording a video, and well, I did indeed get the video, but what I did not get was the audio. I had my microphone turned off that entire time, so that was a pleasant surprise afterwards. You know, I guess things could be worse. I could have recorded like an entire battle and not gotten any audio. Luckily, it was like at least quote unquote just an hour. But rather than like try to redo all that content and or try to do a voiceover of the video and edit all that stuff, I'm just going to turn this into like kind of a recap video. But then what I will read through is we had an Argonaut retire during those few days. So I do want to read through that story because I actually think it was a really cool story to go through. We haven't gone through a retirement in this playthrough yet, or at least in this part of the recorded playthrough yet. So let's jump over to the map view here. Actually, let's get this view that we have our Argonauts and all of our Argo. I moved the, what's it called? The Sepulcher Acropolis back into that top right location. That's actually where it was originally supposed to be based on the order that we found the coordinates in the game. I had considered moving it down into here because I thought it might give us an opportunity to explore more area and find some more adventures and all those things. But I think it's better to actually go and get the story 3 card done as quickly as possible so we can move on to story 4, and then we'll have plenty of time to explore some of the unexplored tiles after that. So what ended up, I mean, you're not even going to see half the days anyway that we just kind of zoom through. I think we're kind of biting the bullet a little bit more in the near future, or like in the current time, and then in the longer term in the future videos we'll have a lot more tiles that we can explore, more story to go through and all that kind of stuff. So I just moved it back. I feel like it's better for content, and you know, I think it's more fun to do it that way, so I put it over there. But just catching up, and actually while I'm doing this, I will go and give us an unglared view of the map, or at least a less glared version of it. And there we go. So there is our current view of Crete. So yeah, I was concerned that there was going to be, I don't know if we're gonna have a straight shot, if we would have had a straight shot to go from our location up there down into this point, where which was going to be our alternative location for the Sepulcher Acropolis. Because we have this whole island laid out, and we can see we have some inlets that we've gone through to explore Crete. Totally possible that we could just do a straight shot south and get in there. But what I actually think is more likely is that there's probably going to be other riverworks that we have to go through, so it may have involved us going all the way through here or whatnot. I feel more comfortable. Let's take the known path. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about where we're at in the story right now. Just do a quick recap, and then I'll cover kind of what happened in the last few days. And then we'll end with the story we experienced through Fisher's retirement. And we have our new Argonaut there down in the bottom, well, bottom left, but really our top left Argonaut is Telebachus. So our story, where we stand right now, we, as the Argonauts, came to Crete to be able to find King Minos, because we believe that there is what's called a Daedalus vault in Crete, which contains some technology that was created by Daedalus himself, who is this wizard, genius, brilliant mind, an inventor, and just an incredible person who we think in this Daedalus vault there could be materials to be able to help us repair the Argo, because our Argo is damaged in a way that will prevent us from going and sailing in the deeper seas. It's okay to sail in some of these shallower waters around Crete, but we need to ultimately get more repairs to it. So we need to find King Minos because he's the only person who can give us access to the Daedalus Vault. But King Minos is missing, and in his place are two princesses that we found when we came to Crete, Princess Acropolis and Princess Phaedra. And those princesses said, hey, by all means, go out and help find King Minos. You're welcome. Actually, you should take Princess Acropolis with you as a guide. So we have Princess Acropolis with us as the Minoan guide. And we set out looking for clues to try to find King Minos. And along the way, we discovered this ship called the Marathonian, which is an Athenian ship. It's run by a group of an Athenian militant group known as the Simici, and we found that they were also looking for King Minos, and we had suspicions that King Minos might have actually been on board there because he may have been captured by the Simici. So we chased the Marathonian down, chasing them through these streams here, and when we finally captured them, we went aboard and we found that no, King Minos was not on the ship, but who we had instead was somebody, a prisoner that, I'm blanking on the name of the leader of the Simici that we talked to. But the leader of the Simici took us to a prisoner that they have named Xenodice. And Xenodice is supposedly another daughter of Minos, who is at the current time, she is a bit crazed. She has fallen into the mindset of the Labyrinthians, where she believes that nothing matters anymore, and she's just kind of given up on all hope. But she did give us a map of these temples of the Minotaur here. And these were temples that we had to go to try to find because within those temples were clues to where we could find the Sepulcher Acropolis, which is what we are trying to get to right now, and where we're actually at right now. And the Sepulcher Acropolis is where the quote-unquote one true daughter, or I think something referred to her in a similar way, of Minos, who was Ariadne. So the Sepulcher Acropolis is supposedly where Ariadne has been buried. Ariadne was a daughter of Minos, and we've found some things out about her. I'm trying to remember what we've actually learned from through this story in the playthrough, but we believe that yes, Ariadne is dead, and she was in love with Theseus, who was actually, I think he was an Athenian warrior who was leading a movement to try to overthrow Minos, because Minos was taking people and sacrificing them to the Minotaur in the labyrinth. So there were rumors of this half bull, half human creature who they trapped in this labyrinth, and I think the labyrinth was built by Daedalus as well. And Minos was making human sacrifices to him, and overall just being oppressive to some people in Crete, while some people prospered under his rule. Theseus wanted to change things, so he wanted to overthrow Minos. And we don't really know all of what happened with that. We know that Theseus loved Ariadne, Ariadne loved Theseus. Ariadne is, we believe Ariadne to be dead. Theseus is dead. King Minos is missing. And all the while we have these primordials who are now destroying Crete. We have the Hecaton, who we haven't actually seen yet in a battle, but we will soon. We have the Labyrinthoros, and we have the Temenos, where the Temenos is kind of like the main baddie of this story, and he represents this like all-consuming maw of destruction and transformation, and he is transforming this island of Crete slowly but surely into a labyrinthized, angular, crazy design, as well as some of the people and creatures that are in it. So this is some of the stuff that we covered in our first video, but just recapping some of it. So we just found the Sepulcher Acropolis. We haven't actually gotten to the story bit of that because we were about to go into the Pursuit's End battle. So the Pursuit's End battle is this battle that we had to put on our timeline, or we didn't have to, but we chose to, after we killed our adversary. The Pursuer, this giant bird-like creature, has been stalking the Argo even before our Argonauts were awakened, even before our story really began. From what we know on the Argo, the Pursuer has been chasing the Argo and harassing it and caused the damage to it. We did get an initial kill on the Pursuer, but when we went to go check out his body, he basically just all of a sudden came to life again, got up and darted away. We were able to track him to a lair. His lair is not actually a single point on the map, but it's basically just equivalent to, we can put a battle for the like a final battle for the Pursuer called the Pursuit's End battle on our timeline, and that indicates that we are going to go to his lair and hunt him down and try to kill him there. So that's a battle that we're about to go into in the next video. And I fully expect to lose that battle. I don't think we're going to win. There's a chance, there's absolutely a chance that we can win. But I don't think it's likely. We're more going into this as kind of like an information gathering thing of like, if we're going to try to kill the Pursuer this cycle, let's go into this battle, let's figure out what we're up against, and let's see how we might be able to better prepare ourselves for a fight where we actually do think we're going to win. One piece of information that I covered that maybe is notable, maybe I'm going into too much detail, but while we were traveling across these explored tiles, because we were basically on this northwest tile up here, we traveled across tiles that we had already explored over to this tile. And going across explored tiles is boring because you don't get to uncover new adventures, you don't get to uncover new story. And so we have a nymph who could help us basically just be able to get past one of those explored tiles. Like, you know, we get to move one extra movement during the movement step, so we could save a day of travel if we wanted to. But we only have one nymph summoning charge right now, and we would rather use that nymph summoning charge in this fight against the Pursuer, because if there is even a small chance that we can win, we're probably going to need a nymph charge to be able to use it. There's a couple of good ones that we can use in a battle, so we preferred to save it for save that nymph charge for that fight. And yeah, I think that's kind of some of the main story stuff that we've gotten up to so far. We didn't really have a lot of different story things that happened while we were on these explored tiles anyway, so I figured this would be a good checkpoint. I think with that, what I will do is then I'm going to go through the story for Fisher. So she retired on, which Nemos did she retire on? Why am I blanking on the name of it? Sorry, I gotta go to retired Fisher on the Curse of the Gods Nemos. And so what I did, because we haven't actually experienced a retirement on this playthrough, like in the video yet, so I actually went through and read that whole story from beginning to end. Normally these Nemoses, you get the story in bits and pieces at a time, but I thought it would be a fun thing to go through and read the whole thing from start to finish. So we're going to go ahead and do that again. Let me go find that in our book. And then after that, we'll end the video, and the next video will be our fight against the Pursuer. I did show, oh man, it was a nice ending to the last video too, because it was like a nice little cliffhanger, but I will show the artwork for the Pursuit's End battle because it's pretty sweet. Amazing. Wow. That's what we're going to be getting ourselves into. And we're gonna lose that fight. I'm excited to lose a battle on camera. That'll be fun. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and do our reading of Fisher's story that led to her retirement. Go ahead and bring Fisher's portrait up here. So we have that to look at as we're reading the story. Put a face to the story. Curse of the Gods. This is the first memory. The dream is more vivid now. It starts with a date. When you can't immediately recall, she brushes it off, a quick smile replacing her frown. You take her into your arms and she places her head on your shoulder. It must have slipped your mind, she tells you. It's just a number. It's all right. She kisses you and all is well. Then it happens again. You mistake her parents' names, her sisters, the place she grew up in. Her frown deepens and her smiles become forced, but her hand is still holding yours, her sigh content. When she kisses you, it's rough and bitter, forceful even. She apologizes and blames your forgetfulness on the war and how stressful your work must be. These are terrible times, she says. You leave it at that and life goes on. It's the end of summer. The season fates put the two of you together. The sun feels warmer on your skin, warmer than usual. You notice her flinch when she catches you enjoying the sunlight, but she doesn't say anything, and she stops going out when the sun is at its highest. You wonder if she has become sick or suddenly worries about getting sunburned, but she reassures you with a smile. It's nothing. This is the second memory from Curse of the Gods. The memory is more vivid now. You force yourself to keep going, but every slip-up is a bitter reminder of the curse. Forgotten conversations lead to arguments. Nights are spent cradling her shaking body in your arms as she cries herself to sleep and begs you not to forget. With each passing day, her facade breaks. Until you look at her one evening and frown. You know those eyes, the curve of her nose, the way her lips taste. You know what hides beneath the clothes, the sound of her voice, the smell of her skin. All of these certainties are still there, at the forefront of your mind, and yet one word escapes you. It scares you that you can't remember her name. The more you rack your brain, the more hopeless it becomes. She notices. She opens her mouth in shock when you tell her. Surprise, anger, despair all cross her face before she kisses you as soft tears fall down her face. She whispers words of encouragement to coax her name out of you, assuring you it's only a bad dream, that everything will be all right. But you can't remember her name or who she is. Her cries turn to curses and violence. Her anger at the gods, at you, at herself. You spend that night alone. Is it a first? You don't remember. Her visits become less and less frequent, just as your fondness for her fades. Her flowing hair becomes as irrelevant as the wind blowing in the trees. Her laughter disappears in the noises of the town. The warmth of her skin is as fleeting as the sun. When her face becomes just another mask in the crowd, she stops coming. And this is the final memory of this Nemos. The truth. You can almost grasp it now. They say you only miss someone when they're gone. When she left, she took a piece of your heart with her. A piece you didn't even know you had. How can a heart still beat when it's ripped apart? With the longing comes pain, the endless nights spent turning over and over while a cacophony fills your head. You try to force yourself to remember. You alternate between begging and cursing. The ache imbues your body with such raw emotion you feel you're drowning slowly and painfully while the world keeps turning without you, without her. Soon, nothing will remain. When morning comes, thoughts of her vanish, and for a split second you're glad the pain is over, that soon you won't remember missing her. It's all gone when the sun rises, hard and cruel. When you step outside, there's a beautiful man with blonde hair waiting for you. It takes you a moment to remember him as he smirks. Helios, you whisper nervously. You forgot so many memories, but not meeting him. Such a cruel twist. Memory is such a funny thing, the god says smugly. How does it feel to forget what matters most to you? To be abandoned and forgotten in turn? You feel small next to the god. Sweat rolls down your face and neck as if you're standing next to the sun itself. Which, in a way, you are. You have no doubt Helios would incinerate you on the spot if he wanted to, and the mere fact that he hasn't yet confirms that he takes pleasure in your pain. Your curse isn't going to be lifted. As if reading your thoughts, Helios says, As much as I enjoy seeing you suffer, I too can be merciful. You can't tell if his words are genuine, and you refuse to look at him in the eyes, fearing it would burn your retinas to a crisp. Apologize now. Beg for forgiveness. And I shall take the pain away. You could become someone new, have a fresh start, for if you don't, the heat and light emanating from him become unbearable, and you have to close your eyes. You will wander aimlessly forever, unable to remember anything or anyone. Lost and untethered, you will never know love again, for not knowing is worse than being dead. Love. Something warm awakes in your heart. A tiny thing no bigger than a grain of sand. It is so small, you wonder if you are not imagining it. A promise. Didn't you make a promise to someone? What have I done to offend you? You don't remember? Helios asks perversely. It doesn't matter, does it? I am your god. I tell you to kneel, you kneel. I tell you to bark, you bark. I tell you to hand over your loved one. You get the point. Now, apologize. Repent, yield, grovel, beg for mercy. Give me your love, mortal. At this point, we had a choice. Fisher could choose option 1, which is, you're nothing more than a poor sinner. You've angered a god, and all you can do now is grovel at his feet, beg for forgiveness, the wretched mortal that you are, while the last strings of your memory keep your mind together. You know they are not merciful, but maybe, this time, if you only abase yourself, if you hand over your love, you ask the gods for forgiveness. Option 2, your love will prevail. You remember it now. You will not let the cruelty of the gods prevent you from keeping your promise. Time has passed, but you will find your love, even at the risk of forgetting everything all over again, even if it means forgetting your own name. For what worth is a promise not kept? How can you live a life devoid of love? Even the gods must yield to love. You defy him. We chose option 2. You insolent fool, says Helios, radiating searing spite. You will pay dearly for this. With what? You've taken everything I had, and you just told me not knowing is worse than death. Helios gives you another look of contempt, raises his hand, and disappears. You're left alone, clinging to the last strands of love and hope. You need to find her. You will find her. And with that, Fisher left the Argo to go find her love. I'll see you in the next video.